one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for coming this evening, and I want to remind everyone our mission is to encourage everyone to see and be their personal best through successful learning experiences. Become your best. Item 4, adoption of the agenda and consent agenda as an order of business, including identification of items to be removed from the consent agenda for discussion and/or separate action. So I need the motion.
So moved. I'll second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
And with that, we need to consider approval of the consent agenda as adopted. Approve minutes from January 20th, 2026 Board of Education meeting and February 3rd, 2026 special board meeting. Approve financial report for the period of July 1, 2025 through January 31st, 2026. And approve bills for the period of January 31, 2026 in the amount of $3,040,768.49.
So moved.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Okay, with that, we move on to board district leadership strategic planning. And Scott, you're going to give us an update on the legislative update.
You got it. Good evening, everybody. Yesterday, a good number of the Sheboygan County superintendents were able to meet with 3 of our legislators. Once again, we do this monthly in Sheboygan. Fast and Furious is something I wrote in big letters on the notes that I took because Devin Lemmy said hundreds of bills have been introduced in the last 2 weeks alone. And they're introduced, and then the question is whether they get passed and advanced through the Assembly and into the Senate and to the governor's desk. Several of those are educationally based. There is a bill regarding van capacities that is out there that would impact districts and increase our ability to transport kids as far as driver-student ratios. The bell-to-bell cell phone policy is one that Lindy Brill has been championing. And that has advanced as well, so we'll see where those go. Devin additionally said that the Assembly will adjourn probably Thursday, with the Senate running a bit behind that into March. That was about it from him. Lindy, again, talked more about the bell-to-bell proposal for personal communication devices. Again, made it through committee. We'll see how far that goes. And Joe Sheehan has been championing Grow Your Own legislation, an effort to increase the number of students that we have coming out that are pursuing education, and ways to also certify those teachers in some cases, alternative means for certifying them to teach. So those are some of the primary things coming out, but you could tell from all 3 of them that perhaps a little low on sleep. They've been going. And we'll continue to go hard for the next few days in the Assembly case and Senate a couple more weeks.
Great. Any questions for Scott? So any discussion about childcare and how to reduce childcare costs, anything like that being proposed?
I have not heard that for quite some time now.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ought to ask them to take a look at what's going on in Vermont right now. Vermont has made a huge push, and now they are funding childcare, and it's been a huge impact for the entire state of Vermont as well as the businesses in Vermont.
Got
So,
it. Thank you. I can certainly bring that topic
yeah.
up.
Otherwise, tell them, come talk to me, and I've got a lot of ideas. Moving on, Panther Spotlight, Horizon Elementary. Matt? Good evening.
All right, so I'm here to talk about Horizon 2025, 2026.
Yeah, let's give them a chance to move if they choose.
All right. All right, so what I'm going to do is talk about our key performance indicators, those KPIs, what we are working on. kind of piggybacked off of what Todd Hunt did a couple weeks ago. For the academic side of things, initially I have the little asterisks at the end there because we had set a building goal for our English language arts forward results that we wanted to have a 5% increase on our scores. However, because at this point in the year, we have not taken the forward exam, I thought that what Todd did with Parkview, how they talked about those reading plans, trying to keep that total number below 15% was a good thing to kind of set for us and look where we're at. So I'll be talking about how we're doing from last year to this year. Number two, attendance, how our goal is to have 7% or less of our students in that chronically absent category. And then number three, the extracurricular participation. So first one, those personal reading plans, like Todd had talked about the other week, is that we wanted to have less than 15% of our 5K through third grade students qualify for personal reading plans. And 5K through third grade, that's what is state required. So fourth grade is not required to have that done by state. However, we still do some things with fourth grade, but we do not include them in these numbers. So when we looked at like last year, 2024-25, in the fall, we had 20% of our students, winter we had 18%, and spring we had 14%. And again, that goal is for 15 or less throughout this school year. Why this goal is important, obviously reading proficiency directly impacts long-term academic success. And it's not just the building goal, but it's a district-wide priority with all the Act 20. We have new HMH reading and writing curriculum. What we're doing, grade level data meetings, personal reading plans for those students in the 25th percentile or below. Again, that's the state mandated ones. But then as a district, we're doing DRPs, district reading plans. So the students who are in that 26th through 40th percentile, and that's a district initiative. So we're still being proactive to those students that technically are not even qualifying under that state mandated. So when we look at where we are in the fall, we had 23 of 155 students, so 14.84%, so below that 15. And then winter, 14.65%, 23 of 157 students. And then the spring, we'll be taking that coming up around April-ish, right? You know, April, yeah. So students that qualify by grade, I just broke it down to look at 5K. We have 4 students currently. Grade 1, we have 8. Grade 2, we have 8. Grade 3, we have 3. So the total of students on PRPs right now is 23 students. Just to put a note on there that of those 23, 16 of them are special education students. So not only are they getting this, reading plans, but then it also they have like the their instructional minutes and stuff through their special education. So something that we're constantly working with all of our students that need that. Notes, not all are the same students, so in the fall, some improved, so they're no longer under that plan. We've also had some things like some of these students I know are ones that just moved into the district and so forth. So again, it's not the same 23 students, some of those vary. KPI number 2, chronic absenteeism. Our goal was to reduce chronic absenteeism by 3%. Definition of what that means is that a student misses more than 10% of the enrolled school days. Last year, we ended at 10%, and that was based on our Panorama data system. So again, we set that goal to get that down at 7% or less will be by the end of the 2025-26 school year. Why is this goal important? Obviously, attendance is directly tied to academic progress, behavior, student connection. This KPI is a building and a district-wide priority for this school year. So that's something that we tightened up with all the buildings, administrators, and so forth. As of 2/17-26, we are at 11.15% chronically absent. So that means right now 28 of the 251 students fall in that category. So our goal is to be 7%. So what that means is that if our numbers stay the same, we would want roughly like at 18 to 20 would still get us in that 7%, be a high 7%. That's kind of where we're, what we're shooting for. Right now, when you break that down by grade level, for K5, students, 5K has 11, grade 1 has 3, grade 2 has 4, grade 3 has 3, and grade 4 has 2. If you'll notice, I put an asterisk behind 4K because with 4K only being a half day, a lot of times if a student has a doctor's appointment or they have to leave because they got a 10 o'clock appointment, a lot of times parents are gonna maybe keep them out and so forth for that. So there's just some of those things that kind of factor into that, and then they're considered missing that day. 5K, that is the year of like tonsils are getting out. We had a couple of those. We got hit pretty hard with some foot, hand, and mouth disease stuff earlier in the year. That goes in there. We also do have some students in that grade level that have some like high medical needs and stuff like that. So that we're working with them, that even though they're like medically excused and stuff, they still are missing a lot of days. So that's kind of where that number is so high right now with 5K. What are we doing? We hold bi-weekly attendance monitoring team meetings that consist of myself, school counselor, school psychologist, our social worker, David Hickman. We sit down, we look at attendance, and then we kind of look at how, if we need to do interventions with the family, reach out to them, what might be some barriers getting in the way. Early warning letter system at 5 absences. That's the district-wide thing, that we have those letters that go out. So again, that puts it on our radar. Targeted attendance and truancy contracts. Done that with a couple families that when we're kind of getting to that point that attendance is high, where I bring them in, we kind of look at, like here's where we're at, kind of let's set a goal so we can get those numbers down. That's been very successful with a couple that I've done so far this year. Ongoing family communication and all the newsletters, plugging stuff out on Skyward messages. Individual student support plans, again, that's the medical stuff. That's where we're going to be working with the school nurse, Ann Nelson, and everything, making sure that we're supporting those students that we can when they need to be out for medical reasons. Collaboration with CISA 6 consultant, Melanie Sickinger. We meet with her every other month or so. That kind of comes in and helps us get on track with our goals. And then something that we're going to be starting, our school counselor Robin Hoopman was working with Natalie Voigt, attendance celebrations, is printing off what are students who had perfect attendance, who are students that maybe missed like 1 day, 2 day, and then like just giving like shout out stuff like that, so that positive reinforcement of those that are at school all the time. Extracurricular student involvement, as Todd also mentioned with this is the very early phase of it. We sent out a survey, I believe it was at the end of September, to the families asking them. Out of all of the responses that we had, 44 families were from Horizon. 82% of those said that their families are participating in some ways activities, and then 18 said they are not participating. And again, most common is that those organized sports, which 86% of that is like your PAVA, basketball, soccer, baseball, all that stuff. Some are in music lessons, their church, library activities, other community service stuff. So the key takeaways is that there is participation is strong, but it's heavily sports centered, which nothing wrong with that, but definitely that there are parents who are looking for others' activities. Primary barriers, some noted cost, some said lack of awareness of options, lack of time, and limited to non-sports offerings. And I'm not going to go through here, but on the left I put down some of those things that families expressed, like art classes, cooking, book clubs, stuff like that. Some said additional sports, requesting like gymnastics, swimming for younger ages, bowling, a couple other ideas. Families then had some communication feedback where they said they'd like a centralized extracurricular calendar, area like Friday folder flyers, website hub with opportunities, and earlier sign-up notifications, which we do offer that. We do have a lot of stuff that goes out, but again, either it's missed or feel that it should be more, but it's something that we'll continue to do. Overall theme, strong participation, sports-dominated offerings, clear demand for diverse enrichment options, communication accessibility improvements are needed. So what are we doing? I put down Friday folders, that's district-wide. We do work with Jamie getting that stuff out, and there is a lot of stuff that does get plugged in there. Family newsletters and teacher messages, that if there's anything that we feel relevant, school-related, we'll send that out. We also do things like we allow groups to come in, like if Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, stuff like that, ask, hey, can we come in during lunchtime and just kind of meet with students? We'll do that, as well as like back to school, other conferences. So we're definitely welcoming any of those things that can get the message out to parents and students about activities going on. So that kind of leads to maybe kind of just like pointing out some things that Horizon is offering that might be unique. Horizon, we have a ski club, which fourth grade teacher Andrew Arnston leads. He's led it for many years. Thankfully, luckily we had like a really good stretch of snow, so we got a lot of ski club stuff in. My oldest son, who's in third grade, participated in it and absolutely loved it. So it is something that kids truly do enjoy. It's a unique experience. Our PATH organization, I mean, I could just go on and on and on about what they do for Horizon. It is amazing. Just on the left, there's a lot of those cool opportunities that they do offer. We held a McDonald's Make Teachers Night back in October, where we teach a bunch of teachers, staff, we worked at McDonald's, raised money. We were there for 3 hours and we made like $962 or something. I'd have to zoom in. Wanted to showcase the sun costume because I truly do enjoy wearing that. I love it. We did a Horizon School Spirit Night on Friday, so if any of you were at the girls' basketball game, you might have noticed there was a lot of yellow t-shirts. Again, t-shirts that were given to students from PATH through sponsorship from local companies and stuff, and we had that we worked with Mr. Butters and Mr. Shutter, the coaches, that if they wore their yellow t-shirts, they got in the game for free. So that was something that we did to keep building on our school's spirit. We did our March Book Madness kickoff yesterday. Where we have the books that go up against each other. Jackie Murphy ran that for many years. She retired last year, but Jackie came back yesterday to kick off our assembly, and she read the story. That's me in the dog costume, acting out Dog versus Strawberry. Teachers all had their book out there. It was like a sports theme, playing their pump up music, and they ran out. So our staff is amazing, and they will do anything for the good of students to get everybody excited. And then this was something I thought was cool that Tracy Creasa, our librarian, passed on, that she had third and fourth graders repurpose discarded books and have them fold into hedgehogs. So if you're ever in our building, like during holidays, we have like books and stuff like built like snowmen and trees and all that stuff. So that's awesome that Mrs. Creasa was passing her talents on to our students, but hopefully they just do it out of old books and not. Oh my gosh. All right. Cool. So, and there I am dressed as the Grinch before Christmas. So do we have any questions?
Is there any costumes you don't wear?
Right?
I love it. I said we need to put that on a standing agenda on our path, is that all the costumes that I need for every holiday and so forth. So it's fun. We enjoy it.
Excellent.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thank you.
So many fun things.
Yeah.
Again, thanks, Matt. That was great. Good stuff going on at Horizon. Let's move on then to Finance, Building, and Grounds. We need to consider the approval of the addition of a human resources position. Scott, you want to take this?
Yeah, thank you. If you'll recall, last week, we had a lengthy discussion about this, and we walked back through the history as to how we got from point A to point B a couple of years ago. When our facilities director resigned, the decision was made to move oversight of that department in with the business office, and we talked about the various responsibilities of that office. This happened at a time when the recruitment, retention, engagement, culture, those things have become more and more important over the recent years. And we really would like to add this position so we have a person dedicated to the culture and wellness of our staff throughout the district. We think we can really do some great and creative things.
Okay. So I need a motion to approve the addition of the human resources position.
I move we approve the addition of a human resources position.
All right, and now discussion. Any other questions for Scott? Anything else?
Just a clarification, if we approve this, and are you posting it soon so they could be hired yet this year?
Yeah, great question. Our timeline, and we talked generally about that today. If the board would approve it, we would like to post as early as next week with the idea that ideally we'd be able to interview right after spring break. This person would be starting July 1, so next year. So it would be built into next year's budget. It would not be this year. Does that answer that, Janelle? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
And do we have a job description?
We do have a rough
formalized, or-
draft of that,
Okay.
and it's, I'd say 90+%, but it roles and responsibilities, obviously, as you talk about attracting, retaining, FMLA, all of those oversight type things, personnel investigations, but the lead is really culture and wellness for our people.
Okay, all right. Any other questions? So with that, all in favor, say yes?
Yes.
Opposed? All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Now, consider gifts and corresponding budget adjustments. Scott? run through.
Yes, and I believe we have one. Yes, a donation, we'd ask the board to consider a donation of miscellaneous supplies for the Panther Fits Closet from Salem United Church of Christ.
Need a motion?
I move that we approve the donation from Salem United Church of Christ.
I'll second.
All in favor, say yes?
Yes.
And thank you to Salem United Church of Christ. Consider approval of the Wisconsin Technical Excellence and Academic Excellence Scholars. Joe brought this to the committee of the whole.
Yep, and just as a refresher, the board is just approving the number of scholarships that we are eligible for at the state level. Because we have at least 500 students at the high school, we are eligible for 2. We'd be asking the board to approve the maximum of 2 in both the academic and the technical excellence side.
All right. Seems like an unnecessary thing to approve, but we have to. So I need a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? All right, there we go. Now, consider approval of the teacher framework changes. Amy, you went
Yes.
through this.
So last week, we talked about the proposal of a tiered incentive for teachers to give their retirement or resignation notice. There were some suggestions made to make a few changes, so it was handed out, and the changes that we made are all in red. I'll do a quick overview of what we added or changed. So we added language that states that it would be at the end of the current school year. And then in number 2, timely written notice of intent, $750 if provided prior to December 31st, or $300 if provided between January 1st and February 15th of the current school year. And then number 3, the individual is not currently on a plan of improvement or subject to disciplinary action. We added that on a plan of improvement language. And then down below, for the exception for this school year, We changed the $500 to $750 if notice is given by February 28th of this year. Just in an effort to encapsulate everyone that has or maybe would have given notice prior to December 31 had this been in place. So that's the teacher framework, and then the support staff handbook is down below. That one's worded a little bit different because there's no current school year that they would have to, they don't have that time, limit, because teachers have contracts that end at the end of the school year. So their wording states 750 if provided at least 120 days prior to the last date of employment, or 300 if provided at least 90 days prior to the last date of employment. And then in number 3 for support staff, we added that the individual is not currently on a plan of improvement or subject to disciplinary action. So all of the suggested changes and stuff are in red, and this document is what you would be approving.
Okay. And again, the primary reason that you want to implement this?
Staffing, it helps us to plan staffing if we know if someone's intending to leave. For support staff, it makes it much easier for us to be able to post a position, offer a training or mentoring time type thing. If someone gives a 2-week notice, it's very, very difficult to do that and then have their, the new hire be successful. So this gives us the ability to enhance our, training program and things like that for them.
Okay, great. So I need a motion to approve the teacher framework retirement resignation notice plan as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion?
So is this something that's brand new, or we're just changing the framework?
It's brand new.
Brand new.
So we added the exception just for this school year because there's nothing in place. And then next year, we'll take that out and it will just be what's on top.
Okay. Any other questions, discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
Moving on, policy. Consider approval of the first reading of Neola Policies, Volume 35, Number 1, Technical Corrections, Administrative Updates, 35.1. Janelle?
In January, Kathy and I and Scott and a number of our administrative team, we met with our Neola rep, and we went through at least 20 policies that were real updates. There was a number of technical corrections, which is more like fixing commas and punctuation and little things. And then there was also a pending group of SSO, support organization
Yep.
updates. And the admin team met and decided we're going to just live with what we have right now. We're not making any changes to those policies. The policies that I did highlight and I explained last week that I wanted to highlight there's one on board district administrator relationships, which kind of outlines how we work with Scott, and Scott is in charge of the functioning of the schools. And then there were ongoing updates that we have for personal communication devices, which Scott again highlighted will be a calming attraction and probably through legislative updates, but we're updating these policies to comply with current laws. So there's updates on personal communication devices, digital content, and it's more aligned with the accessibility issues that is coming through, and then artificial intelligence updates. I think as I read to you last week, Kathy and I recommend that we approve these changes.
All right, and with that, I need a motion to approve the first reading of the Neola. And we'll do a second reading. I guess we don't approve, or do we approve the first reading, and then we're going to have?
Yeah, next month.
Okay, all right, so I need a motion to approve the first reading.
That's a quick question.
Yeah,
Yep,
go
sure.
ahead.
On the cell phone policy,
Yes.
it sounds like it's not final. So Lindy is
Well-
trying to
No.
write a much broader policy?
The policy
Yes.
that we are adopting is in alignment with current law.
Right.
On the heels of that new law, there is a new one that just came out of committee, and we'll see whether that one advances or not. But that one is more, it's more specific as far as bell to bell, when students can access, what that looks like.
And then the AI policy, I know I read something about, can you refresh my memory on that change? Or is it new completely?
It's a replacement policy, they rewrote it. So, again, it's little tweaks to the current policy that was in place. And it'll probably be an ongoing repeat
It'll probably
topic
keep
over the next couple
tweaking,
years.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And on the-
Anything else?
And on the personal communication device policy, they did state that, again, there's always exceptions, though it's more about what the teachers can allow in the rooms and not, and there are exceptions for emergencies, health management, or individual education programs and plans that are outlined in the policy, too.
All right. So I need a motion to approve the first reading of the Neola policy changes.
Make a motion to approve the first reading?
Second.
Any other discussion? All right. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Opposed? Okay, period of public participation. Anyone sign up? No? Then we'll go to the board liaison reports. Community education, Sally?
Community ed, there's always a lot going on. I'm just going to share about 3 different things with you. There's a child swim lessons, which is at the level 4, and that begins February 28th. There'll be a family swim from 1 to 3 on March 7th, and then a family rock climbing at Riverview, and also open gym that day on March 25th from 10 to 11:30. That's all.
All right, thank you, Sally. Foundation, Janelle?
Yes, the foundation met last week, and this group, they've been gathering all the applications for scholarships, so there's about 86 applications that have come in. So now they're reading through all of those and sorting through. The scholarship award night will be May 6th, so coming attraction. And at the last week's meeting, we also had a representative from Morgan Stanley came in and kind of outlined what the foundation, where the funds are invested. So they have a good thing going on with very, very active of how we invest and how we generate money to save it and to give back to our students in the scholarships.
Great,
So it was a good thing.
wonderful. Thank you. And then finally, Family Resource Center, Kathy.
All right. Along with our regular programs, Bring Your Own Baby, March 10th at the Mead Library. Tiny Tots Playgroup, March 12th at the Plymouth Public Library. And the Biddy Book Club, March 17th at the Mead Library. There are other upcoming programs. The Triple P Informed Workshop, Dealing with Frustration, is February 23rd from 5:30 to 7 at the UW Extension. That is free, but you must pre-register for that. There's a Mom's Night Out, a watercolor workshop, February 26th, 5:30 to 7:30 at Generations. Again, you have to register for that online. And then in March, the beginning of March, there are 2 Plymouth Developmental Screening Days. Thursday, March 5th in the afternoon, and Friday, March 6th in the morning. And this screening is for children 6 months to 4 years old and who are not enrolled in 4K or elementary school. Some of the areas that will be assessed, communication and language, problem solving, fine and large motor skills, personal and social skills, and then based on availability, hearing and vision screening. It's free, but you have to register online by March 2nd. And then the 3rd annual Spelling Bee is April 16th at Blue Harbor Resort. So anybody who wants to register or look for more information on any of these programs can go to familyresourcesheboygan.org.
Thank you.
A lot going on
A
in
lot going on.
February and March.
All
The
good
district
stuff.
does have a spelling team that has
Oh, you-
taken second place the last 2 years, and they are driven to take on the championship.
To take second place again.
No, first place, we said this is the last time they can go.
So the spelling bee is for what ages?
Adults.
It's adults.
Okay.
It's a
It's a fundraiser.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
What happens, yeah.
We gotta dig in.
What happens with the spelling bee is if a team fails, then you can actually bid to like give them another chance, at least once. So it's a clever idea, so good to see. And we'll move on to personnel then, and Scott, do you want to take?
Yeah,
Yes.
great, thank you. We'd ask that the board consider the following: the resignation of Tom Dorgan, Riverview Middle School principal. Tom has been with the district for 4 years. The board will consider to consider the retirement of Megan Rickmeyer, school counselor at Plymouth High School. Megan has been with the district for 28 years.
Wow.
Consider the retirement of Judith Wolfel, district instructional coach. Judith has been with the district for 34 years. And then finally, to consider the approval of a limited-term contract for Matthew Bertram to be the interim principal at Riverview Middle School for the remainder of the 25-26 school year.
Okay, I need a motion to accept these retirements and changes to contracts.
Second.
Any other discussion or questions? All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? All right. And then travel.
If I can back up just to support staff real quick.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
an
yeah,
update.
sorry.
No problem. Just two quick ones. Keenan Klitsky has been hired as a special education aide at Fairview, and Rachel Searle has been hired as a special education aide at Fairview also.
Great, thank you. And now travel.
Travel. We'd ask the board to consider the out-of-state travel request from Mark Fulbrecht, physics teacher at Plymouth High School, to take physics students to Great America in Illinois in May 2026. This request is in line with board policies. Expenses will be the responsibility of the students and/or their parents through fundraising.
All right, I need a motion.
Make a motion that we accept our out-of-state travel from Mark Goldberg and physics.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Okay. Nothing for 16. President's report. As much as I'd like to be talking about Vermont and what they're doing, and actually San Francisco and what's going on there with early childhood, there's a bigger issue, underlying issue that we were made aware of last week, or last month at our board meeting, in which community members came forward, county members came forward to our board and expressed their concern about our district and what environment we have, whether we were aware of it or not. But a young man who was in our AFS program had racial slurs thrown at him several times and was moved out of our district. And it was eye-opening. And since that time, and I talked about this in committee of the whole, I've reached out and heard from a number of alumni and people who have had similar experiences within our school district over the years. When you think about racism, and that's what it is, guys, it's racism. We could hide the term under bullying, but it's racism when we single out an individual because of the color of the skin or their ethnicity. And it shouldn't exist. In this world, it shouldn't exist. And we all go to church on Sundays and talk about the teachings of Jesus, or whatever church we go to. and nowhere do I believe in the doctrine, and Aaron, you're the expert in the room, but I don't think it ever says it's ever right to single out an individual simply because of their background, their skin color. It just shouldn't happen. So it's really incumbent on all of us that we need to change that environment and not let that environment exist in our school. So, as I said in the committee of the whole, I encourage you to reach out to your own children, to your adult children, and ask them, what kind of language do they use? And what kind of language do they use at parties, in the locker room? And do they hear other people single out individuals because of their race? And do they recognize that that's just plain wrong? That's all there is to it. And it's eye-opening when you ask those questions. When you hear stories about a mom that told her daughter, just don't pay attention to it, look the other way, that's just wrong. And we can't, as a community and as a school system, we can't accept this. So it's incumbent on all of us to take responsibility for the environment of this community and what's going on in the school. And we, as adults, need to be able to teach our children what's right and what's wrong, and what language you can use, and what language you should never use. So, fortunately, Dina and Scott and I met with Mark Edmonds. He was the gentleman that came before the board last month and spoke to all of us. He has some ideas, and we listened a lot. It was eye-opening. The whole idea that even though we look at our district and say, well, you know, racist comments, there's only once in a while does that ever get reported. Well, it's a mistake to rely on the victim to self-report. We have to understand that. And we then have to try to change the environment here that it's not up to the individual to say, I've been wrong. If they're being persecuted, if they're being chased down, they aren't going to want to step forward and report again because they just expose themselves to more criticism or more vicious language. So anyway, Mark is going to work with us, and we're going to see what more we can do to start to cultivate a climate in which everyone just understands there's some basic right and wrong here, and we can make this school a safe place. You know, we start every single meeting, we read as every child to become their best. Well, if you're walking down the hall and you're hearing jeers, you're hearing language directed at you, it's hard to become your best. And for those students that think that using language like this is being their best, it's not. And I hope that message is getting through loud and clear to the individuals that harassed this young man to the point that he left our school district. And with that, I'll end my preaching, and we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
And before I dive in, Bob, just want to thank you for your words and your thoughts. In our meeting with Mark and Dina, I think you'll vouch for this too, it was clear that the four of us sitting around the table, none of us have the answer. It's not simply flipping a switch. However, working together, we can get there. And I think we have an opportunity in front of us, and I think all of us, are looking forward to that opportunity and that dialogue. So, yeah, thank you again. All right, shifting gears then, celebrations and upcoming events. I've got some good stuff here. Gail Grahn was inducted into the Wisconsin State Hall of Fame for softball coaches 2 weekends ago. Congratulations to Gail, and thank you for his dedication throughout the years. 371 high school students made the first semester honor roll. So kudos to those students and kudos to the educators who work with them and mentor them each and every day. High school varsity dance qualified for state in D4 POM. Congrats to them, and soloists Allison Kilcoyne and Gabby Lefebvre qualified as individuals. So great accomplishments for those two and the team. Diving state qualifiers, they compete this Friday. Good luck to them. 1:30, I think, is when they begin. Colin Heller, Eli First, Blake Andrews will be representing Plymouth at the state meet. Wrestling. Individual state meet takes place beginning Thursday of next week. We have Connor Cruz, Landon Fick, and Sawyer Daly all competing there. Looking forward to see how they do and whether they end up on the podium. I got a good feeling we'll see one or more of them on the podium. Girls wrestling won regionals. They are marching on and have a chance to qualify for state this Friday. So good luck to those young ladies. PHS FBLA finished second at the 2026 FBLA Region 6 Leadership Conference on the 7th of February. 55 individuals are going to be moving on. I believe it's April 13th and 14th to the State Leadership Conference. So Mr. Williams has a significant number of individuals participating, which is phenomenal, and obviously they're performing at a high level. And then lastly, I love Super Bowls. Super spelled out S-O-U-P-E-R. Parkview Student Council collected more than 300 items for the Plymouth Food Pantry in their Super Bowl competition. And upcoming events, we're very fortunate. We have the Wisconsin Singers coming once again and performing this Friday, 7:30 p.m., right here in our auditorium with Momentum. So looking forward to that. The musical Mamma Mia, March 12th through the 15th. It is right around the corner. Tickets go on sale February 23rd, also in the high school office. We already talked about child development screenings. Thanks for that. And just a reminder, winter sports tournament season is upon us. We've got a whole bunch of sports and activities that are kind of coming to that really exciting crescendo. So root our kids on and watch for how they perform and represent Plymouth at the regional, sectional, and state levels. And the last thing I have, just a reminder, the board will be touring our 3 elementary schools tomorrow. We're very much looking forward to that. It will be a fast and furious 3.5 hours, so be ready and be well rested. It's just going to be a great time seeing our kids and our teachers and our support staff in action. So.
And we're going to meet here to
Yes.
start, right?
District office, 8:30. Cars, you'll be shuttled at 8:40, so
All right,
be ready to go.
great. Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, you bet.
All right, and with that, I need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say yes.